Hey, what's going on, barbers? This is Hashim Whitmore, your barber exam expert. So, today I'm responding to a direct message from my man Jay out of South Carolina. He's about to be taking his test in May, and he's feeling a little discouraged. He's feeling like he doesn't really know what's going to be happening on the barber exam. So I'm just going to break down what you're going to be able, what you should expect when you go into the exam, right? There's going to be two parts of the exam, my brother Jay, and for all the other barbers that are taking it, you're going to have two parts. You're going to have your practical part, in which you're actually going to have a client or a mannequin that you're going to be doing work on, and I'll go into that a little bit more in detail in just a moment. And then you're going to have the theory side or the written side, and you're actually going to be sitting down at a computer, and you're going to be going through a series of different questions. All right, so just to try to alleviate some of the anxiety about the test. Remember, this is just a test, and you are ready and you're prepared to do it. So don't let the weight of this test psych you out from actually doing a great job of it and getting your license. All right, because it will be there are some elements of it that can be kind of nerve-wracking, right? And so when you go into the exam, the practical exam, they'll go over, you'll have actually like 5 areas that you're going to get tested on. All right? And that's going to be your work area and your client preparation. You're going to have hair cutting. That's where you actually perform a hairstyle. You're going to have you're going to have your work area and your setup of supplies, and shaving with a straight razor, and your blood exposure procedures. All right. So, and this is for South Carolina. It might be different for some of you guys that are watching it in other states, and that's why I got my computer out here to break down, just to keep me on track, so I can make sure I answer Jake's question. All right. And so in each of those sections, you'll have a certain time that you can do that for. And I'll actually send you the link where it breaks down how much time that you have, so you can get comfortable in just taking out, setting up your equipment and all that. Okay, so there's a couple things that you're gotta know. Is that one, when you go in there, there's no cell phones, no tablets, none of those electronic devices. You're not going to be able to talk to anybody. So that means no talking to other people that are taking the test. And if you ask the proctor a question about it, he's going to say, like, just do as you were taught, or do the best that you can. And that is it. So if you don't know a certain procedure, or if it just, sometimes your mind just goes blank. My mind went blank during my practical exam when I took it in Maryland. So what do? So you breathe, you go over and wash your hands, and you just like take your time, wash your hands real good, and then usually it'll click back into what you're gonna do. You're gonna have things to know, that if you gotta know your shaving procedures, especially, and you gotta know what happens if there's a blood spill, because it happens. Sometimes people, you be right in the middle of shaving, they'll hiccup, they'll sneeze right when you're doing a shave, and you might cut them. So you got to know how to, clean the area, apply the talcum powder, and keep on going. All right, but it's nothing to be stressed over. Especially, it sounds like you have a really good instructor. So just go over those type of procedures. All right. So, so that's the core of the meat that you're going to go through. In South Carolina, for the test I saw that you're going to be taking, there's not going to be any chemical procedure, so you don't have to worry about the thermal curl, the chemical relaxing, chemical curling, any of that. If I'm incorrect, please let me know, and I'll make another video for you, and I'll go over like more in depth of those steps. Then you have the written part of the exam. Okay, so you'll actually go into a room, and what you can expect when you go in there, and this happened to me both times, is that you're waiting in like a little lobby area, and there's all these other barbers that are there. And you're gonna see some that are really confident, and they're gonna see some that are really stressed out and worried about the test, and they probably have failed at previous times, and they're gonna be, oh man, you gotta remember this and all this, and they're gonna try to throw you a lot of information that they're just trying to remember, and it might throw you off. So you're gonna have to, I recommend just staying to yourself, practice, trust that you practiced enough of the practice tests and practice quizzes in the Barber Exam boot camp. You've worked through the book, you know your material. Because what will happen is you'll sit at the test and you'll start thinking about all the shit that these guys said, and it will throw you off. All right, so you want to make sure that your mind is clear and that you relax, and I believe in your case in South Carolina, you have 90 minutes to complete 50 questions. All right, so a little technique is go through those questions and answer all the ones that you know. Any of those ones that you're kind of 50-50, not quite sure about, mark those where you could go back to them later. Because what will happen is once you start taking the test and those questions that you didn't quite know, they'll actually have another question that actually gives you the answer to that question. So you can always go back and answer those questions, but you got to make sure that you go back and answer those, because a lot of people miss the exam by 1 or 2 questions just because they didn't go back and answer the marked questions that they had. In California, they give you the results right away. In Maryland, a few years ago, they made you kind of wait like a week or so, and then they let you know. So I'm not sure how long will you know in South Carolina before they let you know if you passed, but you got this. This test is not that hard when you're prepared, and that preparation comes from even before you actually step through those doors. That preparation comes with your studying, eating a healthy breakfast, getting one thing. Okay, so when I've taken the test in Maryland, in Baltimore, in Maryland, I lived in Virginia. I didn't know where the place was or where I was going to be taking the test at. And when I took the test in California, it was like in Vallejo, which is around 90 minutes away from Sacramento. So again, I didn't know where it was. So you get there, get a hotel, stay the night before, kind of scout the area, because the last thing you want to do is, one, not know where the place is at and where you're going to be taking the test at, and then 2, not know where your client or your model is going to be. So make sure that you have them there, because both times, once was my uncle, he was lost, and he just made it there in the nick of time. The other time was my pastor. He was running late. So make sure that that the person that you're performing the practical is there with you and knows exactly where it's going to be. So I hope this helps you, my brother. And for anybody that's watching that needs help practice, passing their exam, click the link in my bio for the Barber Exam Bootcamp. And if you have questions, DM me, message me, and we'll get to it and make sure that you pass. Take care.